Buy me the BMW. Mom. That's how my son Kevin opened the conversation. No hello. No smile. Not even a hint of gratitude. Just those 5 words. I almost spit out my coffee. Excuse me? He leaned back in the leather chair like he owned my house. Legs crossed. Phone in his hand. The M8 convertible. Metallic blue. 300,000. It'll help my image at work. Show the boss I'm a man of success. I blinked. Kevin. You already have a perfectly good car. A Lexus. 2 years old. He scoffed. That's middle class. I need something that screams winner. I set my mug down hard. You're asking your mother for a $300,000 toy to impress your boss? He smirked. I'm not asking. I'm telling you. You can afford it. That line cut deeper than he knew. I folded my arms. Why on earth should I? His eyes flicked to the side. Because people are watching. My colleagues. My wife. Everyone knows my mom's wealthy. They expect it. If you don't, it'll look cheap. There it was. His wife. Jessica. The woman who once looked me dead in the eye at a family dinner and said, "Your cooking is quaint. Like something from the 80s. The woman who never missed a chance to remind me that new money should be careful not to look tacky. I narrowed my eyes. So this BMW, it's not really for you. Is it? He hesitated. Just a fraction of a second. But I saw it. It's for us. He said finally. Me and Jessica. She deserves to be seen in something that matches her style. I laughed. Bitter and sharp. So let me get this straight. You want me to drop $300,000. So your wife, the same woman who called me tacky, can ride around town pretending she's royalty? His jaw tightened. Don't twist it. It's for the family image. Family image? I snapped. The family you keep trying to cut me out of? He leaned forward. Voice low. Don't be dramatic. Just sign the check. I stared at him for a long time. At my son, the boy I raised. The man I paid through college. The man sitting there now like I was his personal bank. And in that silence, something in me hardened. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to play his game better. Finally, I said, calm as ice, fine. I'll buy the BMW. His eyes lit up. Good. You won't regret it. But oh, I already knew he would. And if you're watching this right now, don't forget to hit subscribe and tell me where you're from. Because you're about to hear how I turned a $300,000 BMW into my sweetest revenge. That night, after he left, I poured myself a glass of wine and pulled up the dealership site. There it was. Shining. Perfect. Luxury on wheels. The price tag made me wince. But the idea forming in my head made me smile. Kevin thought I'd hand him the keys. Jessica thought she'd roll up to her friends' parties, flashing that car like a trophy. But they forgot one thing. The title. And on that title, the owner's name would be mine. Not Kevin's. Not Jessica's. Mine. Kevin showed up 2 days later with that smug grin plastered across his face. He didn't even bother to knock, just let himself in like the house already belonged to him. Mom, he said, tossing his jacket on the couch. I booked us a meeting at the dealership tomorrow. 10 a.m. Don't be late. I raised an eyebrow. You booked us? Of course. I told them who I was. Told them you were the buyer. They're rolling out the red carpet. We'll test drive. Sign. And drive it home. I sipped my coffee slowly, hiding my smile. Sounds efficient. Efficient is what we need. He said, pacing the room. Jessica's already planning the reveal. We're doing a little party on Friday, friends. Colleagues. Her side of the family. We'll have the car under a silk cover in the driveway. Dramatic, right? I felt my stomach twist. You mean my driveway? He waved a hand. Semantics. Everyone already associates the house with me. It'll look amazing. Trust me. This will boost my image tenfold. My grip tightened on the mug. And Jessica? He grinned. She's already picking outfits for the photo shoot. Finally, a car that matches her taste. You know how she feels about appearances. Oh, I knew. I remembered her last visit. Walking through my kitchen with her phone out. Live streaming to her friends. She whispered just loud enough for me to hear. Cute little villa. Very vintage. Cute. Vintage. Like my home was some old roadside attraction. Kevin didn't notice the look on my face. He was too busy strutting. The next morning, the dealership sparkled like a palace of glass and chrome. Shiny cars lined up under bright lights, each one gleaming like it had been hand-polished by angels. A salesman in a tailored suit rushed over. Mr. Carter, welcome. And you must be Mrs. Carter. What an honor. Kevin slapped him on the back like they were old friends. We're here for the M8. Metallic blue. Convertible. Price isn't an issue. My mom will handle the paperwork. I watched the salesman's eyes flick to me. Calculating. To him, I was just the wallet. We walked over to the car. It sat under a spotlight. Every curve shining. A beast wrapped in blue. Kevin practically drooled. This, he said, running his hand across the hood, is power. The salesman nodded eagerly. Would you like to see the paperwork? Kevin looked at me. Mom, just sign. No need to overthink. Jessica's already set up the photographer for Friday. I smiled sweetly. Of course. Just hand me the documents. We sat at a sleek black desk. The salesman spread the papers out, loan options, warranties, the title application. Kevin tapped the corner impatiently. Hurry up. Mom. We don't need the extras. Just sign where it says owner. I slid the papers closer, scanning the fine print. The salesman pointed. Here, Mrs. Carter. Owner's full name. That's all we need. Kevin leaned back, smug as ever. Just put my name. It'll make things easier. I looked him dead in the eye, pen in hand. But I'm paying, aren't I? He hesitated. Well, technically, yes. But then technically, I cut in. The owner should be me. The salesman shifted uncomfortably. Kevin forced a laugh. Mom, don't make this complicated. Everyone knows it's for me and Jessica. I smiled. Calm. Sharp. Then everyone can also know that I was generous enough to let you drive it. But ownership? That's mine. Kevin's jaw tightened. You're being difficult. No. I said, putting the pen to paper. I'm being precise. And with one slow stroke, I signed my name. Not his. Not Jessica's. Mine. The salesman clapped his hands. Congratulations, Mrs. Carter. You are now the proud owner of the BMW M8 convertible. Kevin's face went pale. He forced a grin, but his voice cracked. Right. Proud owner. Sure. I leaned back in the chair. Don't worry, Kevin. You'll still get to drive it. Just remember whose name is on the title. He opened his mouth, closed it, then stormed off toward the car, muttering under his breath. The salesman leaned in, whispering, Ma'am, I've seen families argue over less. Are you sure about this? I smiled. More sure than I've ever been. That night, Jessica called me herself. Her voice dripped with sugar but cut like glass. Margaret. Darling. Kevin told me you bought us the BMW. That's just perfect. You know how much it means to me to keep up appearances. Appearances. I repeated, savoring the word. Yes. I imagine it means a lot to you. She laughed softly. Oh. You know me. Luxury is part of my lifestyle. And now, with the BMW, people will finally see me the way I deserve to be seen. I held the phone tighter. Jessica. Let me be crystal clear. I didn't buy you a BMW. I bought myself one. The name on the title is mine. Silence. Then a sharp inhale. What? You heard me. I said. You can pose beside it all you want. But when the cameras click, remember, it's not yours. Not Kevin's. Mine. Her voice cracked. The sweetness gone. You can't do this. We already planned the reveal. Everyone's expecting the car to be mine. Then they're in for a surprise. I said. And hung up. Lying in bed that night, I stared at the ceiling and let the quiet settle around me. Kevin thought he had played me. Jessica thought she had won. But come Friday, when their little party began, they were going to find out exactly what happens when you treat me like a wallet instead of a mother. Because the car in their driveway would have one name attached to it. And it wasn't theirs. It was mine. Friday evening arrived like a storm I had been waiting for. I watched from my upstairs window as cars filled my driveway. Kevin had told everyone it was his event. His gift. His big reveal. I could hear the music thumping from the speakers they'd rented. Smell the catered food drifting in from the back patio. The BMW sat front and center. Under a giant white silk cover. A spotlight shining down on it like it was the guest of honor. I stayed upstairs. Letting them think I wasn't coming. Through the open window, I could hear Jessica's voice, sharp and loud over the crowd. Tonight is about showing everyone that Kevin and I are finally living the life we deserve. No more settling. No more outdated nonsense. A ripple of laughter spread through the crowd. Outdated nonsense. I knew exactly who she was talking about. Kevin cleared his throat. Thank you all for being here. You'll see why this car represents a new chapter for us. My mother was generous enough to make it happen. Polite clapping followed. Not a word of gratitude. Just that smug tone. As if I'd signed a check and vanished. That was my cue. I walked down the stairs slowly, heels clicking against the marble, and pushed open the front door. The crowd turned as I stepped into the light. Don't stop on my account, I said, smiling faintly. Go ahead, Kevin. Show them your big surprise. Kevin's jaw clenched. Jessica plastered on a smile. Margaret, we didn't think you'd come. But it's perfect timing. You'll get to see us reveal the car. I folded my arms. Oh, I'm very interested in this reveal. Kevin nodded to one of his friends. The silk cover was yanked away with a flourish, and the BMW gleamed under the lights. Blue paint glistening like water under the moon. Gasps. Applause. Cameras flashing. Jessica clapped her hands together. Eyes shining. It's beautiful. It's ours. That word snapped in the air. Ours. I stepped forward. Voice calm but cutting. Actually, no. The crowd went quiet. Kevin's face went red. Mom. Don't. I held up a hand. This car isn't yours. It isn't Jessica's. You can take as many photos as you want. But when people ask who owns it, there's only one answer. I reached into my purse and pulled out the crisp registration papers. Held them up high so the cameras could see. Owner, Margaret Carter. Gasps again. Sharper this time. Phones shot up. Recording every word. Jessica's face twisted. You're joking. I turned to her slowly. Do I look like I'm joking? Kevin grabbed the papers from my hand. Scanning frantically. His lips moved silently over the words before he looked up, panic flashing in his eyes. Mom, you can't do this. Everyone's here. Everyone's watching. I smiled. Exactly. Jessica's voice rose an octave. You humiliated us. No. I said. My voice steady. Strong. Final. You humiliated yourselves the moment you treated me like a bank account instead of a mother. This car is mine. And now everyone knows it. The silence broke into a storm of whispers. Phones buzzing. Flashes popping. Someone in the back shouted, "Damn! She played you!" And laughter rippled through the crowd. Kevin's hands shook as he shoved the papers back at me. Jessica's face crumpled as she hissed something under her breath. Too low for the crowd but not too low for me. You ruined everything. I leaned in close enough for only her to hear. No. Jessica. I just reminded you whose name is on everything you've been trying to claim. I slipped the papers back into my purse and turned toward the door. Behind me, the crowd had already shifted. Guests weren't looking at Kevin and Jessica anymore. They were looking at me, some shocked, some smiling, some already typing furiously on their phones. And as I stepped inside, I knew what would happen next. By morning, the video of that reveal would be everywhere. And this time, the internet wouldn't be laughing at me. By the next morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. I thought maybe it was Kevin, ready to scream at me. But it wasn't just him. It was everyone. The video was everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, even Facebook moms were sharing it. The caption that went most viral? When your mom buys the BMW but keeps the title for herself. 10 million views in a day. And the comments, oh. The comments. She's a queen. That's how you play the game. Son thought he was slick. Wife thought she was smart. But mom pulled the Uno reverse card. Respect to this woman. Legendary move. For once, the internet wasn't laughing at me. It was cheering. Jessica called first. Her voice was shaking with rage. Do you realize what you did to me? I leaned back on the couch, sipping coffee. Yes. Exactly what I meant to. My friends are sending me screenshots nonstop. They're saying I got played by my mother-in-law. Do you know how humiliating this is? Humiliating? I said slowly. Try being called tacky in your own kitchen. Try being erased from your own family's image. You're just tasting what you served. She shrieked. Then hung up. Kevin showed up in person. He barged into the living room, slamming the door behind him. Mom, what the hell was that? You made me look like a fool in front of everyone. I stared at him. No, Kevin. You made yourself look like a fool when you lied to everyone about whose car it was. He paced like a caged animal. Do you have any idea how this affects me at work? They're calling me BMW boy. The boss sent me a meme. A meme. Mom. I almost laughed. Good. Maybe it'll teach you not to build your reputation on my money. You've ruined me. He shouted. No. I said calmly. I saved myself. That night. The local news ran the clip. A family dispute goes viral after a mother surprises her son and daughter-in-law at a luxury car reveal. They showed Jessica's stunned face, Kevin's panic, and me holding the papers high. The anchor smiled at the camera. And let's be honest, viewers are calling it the ultimate power move. I nearly choked on my tea. Power move. They were calling me powerful. Not crazy. Not dramatic. Powerful. The next morning, the headlines rolled in. Business Insider, BMW mom outsmarts status-hungry kids. BuzzFeed, she bought the car. She kept the title. Internet says, icon. Daily Mail, family drama on display, mother humiliates son and daughter-in-law in viral video. And the reactions kept coming. One influencer on YouTube did a whole reaction video. laughing so hard he had tears in his eyes. She played them like chess. Respect. Even a lawyer stitched the clip on TikTok, saying, "This is why you always check the paperwork. That mom is a genius." Meanwhile, my phone was full of messages from people I hadn't heard from in years. Margaret. I saw the video, legendary. Proud of you. Finally someone standing up to entitled kids. You should start a podcast. I'd listen. I laughed so hard I almost dropped my phone. A podcast. Me. But deep down, it felt good. For once, people weren't dismissing me. They were listening. Kevin didn't leave his apartment for 2 days. Jessica stopped posting on Instagram. Their perfect little image cracked wide open. Meanwhile, I went grocery shopping like normal. Except it wasn't normal. People stopped me in the aisles. "Are you the BMW mom? I loved your video. Can I take a picture? You're an inspiration." And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel small. I didn't feel erased. I felt seen. As I loaded bags into my car, a young woman approached shyly. "Mrs. Carter? I just want to say thank you. My mom raised me alone, and people always told her she was nothing without a man. But you showed that moms have power. You showed that respect matters." I swallowed hard. "Thank you. That means more than you know." She smiled, snapped a selfie with me, and left. And I stood there in the parking lot, keys in hand, realizing this wasn't just about a BMW anymore. It was about respect. And I'd finally taken mine back. By Monday, the BMW video wasn't just viral. It was a firestorm. Every podcast, every news panel, every TikTok commentator had something to say about me. Some called me BMW mom. Others called meth reverse card queen. One late-night host joked, "If you want a BMW, don't ask your mom unless you're okay with her name on the registration." The audience roared with laughter. And me? I sat on my couch with my morning coffee, watching it all unfold like it was somebody else's life. Kevin called again. His voice was tight, desperate. "Mom, you've got to make a statement. Tell people this was all a misunderstanding." "Why?" I asked. "Because my career is collapsing. The boss won't even look at me. Colleagues whisper when I walk past. They've printed out memes of me, and taped them on the break room fridge." I let him rant. Then I said, "You built your career on appearances. Don't cry now that the mask slipped. You don't get it." He snapped. "This isn't just about me anymore. People are dragging Jessica too. They're calling her a gold digger." I raised my eyebrows, even though he couldn't see it. "If the shoe fits." He gasped. "Mom." I ended the call. 2 hours later, Jessica showed up at my door. Her designer sunglasses couldn't hide the puffiness around her eyes. She didn't bother with pleasantries. "Margaret, you have to fix this. Do you know how humiliating it is to walk into a brunch and have people whispering that the BMW isn't mine?" I crossed my arms. "Maybe stop introducing yourself to the world through things you don't own." Her lip curled. "You did this on purpose. You wanted to embarrass me." "No," I said. "You did that all by yourself. I just gave you the stage." She pointed a manicured finger at me. "You think the internet loves you now? Just wait. They'll turn on you. Then I'll be ready." I said flatly, "Can you say the same?" She stormed out, slamming the door so hard the frame rattled. By evening, the frenzy had reached new heights. A financial blog ran a headline, "The Psychology of BMW Mom When Parents Push Back." A feminist magazine wrote, "Margaret Carter shows us that respect is worth more than luxury cars." Even car forums had threads debating me. One post read, "Forget horsepower, this woman just flexed more power than any engine." I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. At the grocery store, people approached me with their phones out. Can I get a picture? My mom loved your move. You're an icon. Seriously. Teach me how to clap back like that. It was surreal. A week ago, I was a joke. Now strangers wanted my autograph on receipts. One woman stopped me near the frozen aisle. She looked nervous. Mrs. Carter, I just want to say, thank you. My daughter treats me like an ATM. And I never knew how to stand up for myself. Watching you? It gave me courage. My throat tightened. For a second, I almost broke. But I forced a smile. Good. Don't let anyone write your name out of the story you built. That night, Kevin texted me. Just one line. You've destroyed me. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed back, no. Kevin. You destroyed yourself the second you called me a servant and thought I'd stay quiet. I didn't wait for a reply. The next morning, the frenzy took a new turn. A national morning show wanted me live. BMW mom speaks out. I stared at the email. Heartbeat steady. Mind clear. If Kevin and Jessica thought the nightmare was ending, they were wrong. This was only the beginning. The studio lights were blinding. Hot. Heavy. And merciless. I sat in the tall chair. Microphone clipped to my blouse. Waiting for the countdown. 3, 2, 1. The host smiled into the camera. Welcome back to Morning America. Today we have a very special guest. You've seen the viral video, over 20 million views in just a week. She's being called BMW Mom, the woman who flipped the script on her son and daughter-in-law. Please welcome Margaret Carter. Applause. Real, thunderous applause. I smiled. Steady. Thank you for having me. The host leaned in. Margaret. The world has seen the video. Your son introduces the car as his. Your daughter-in-law claims it. And then you hold up the title, your name on it. The clip's been called the ultimate power move. But what was going through your mind in that moment? I looked straight at the camera. Respect. That was it. Respect. For years, I've been treated like a wallet, like a background character in their story. And I wanted to remind them and everyone that you can't buy respect. You earn it. The audience clapped again, louder this time. The host nodded. So when your son asked for a $300,000 BMW, you agreed, but with a twist. Did you know it would go viral? I shook my head. I didn't plan for millions of people to see it. I only planned for Kevin and Jessica to understand it. But once the truth came out in front of their friends, there was no taking it back. Cameras caught it. And people saw themselves in me. People online are calling you an icon, the host said. Some say you gave parents everywhere a voice. I leaned forward. I didn't do this for fame. I did it because I was tired of being invisible. But if other parents feel stronger because of it, then I'll gladly take the name BMW Mom. The audience erupted again. During the commercial break, the producer leaned over. Phones are lighting up. Viewers want more. They're asking if you'd write a book or start a show. I almost laughed. I just wanted a little peace in my own home. But deep down, I felt it, something shifting. I wasn't just Margaret Carter, 60 years old, mother of an ungrateful son. I was becoming a symbol. When the cameras rolled again, the host said, Margaret, your son and daughter-in-law haven't spoken publicly since the video. Do you have a message for them? Here, live on national television? The studio hushed. Everyone leaned in. I took a breath. Looked straight at the lens. Yes. Kevin. Jessica. If you're watching this, listen closely. You don't build a legacy on borrowed money and fake smiles. You don't build a marriage on lies and greed. And you don't treat family like servants. The BMW was never about the car. It was about who I am. And I am not yours to use. Gasps. Then cheers. The audience rose to their feet. Clapping. Some even shouting yes. The host blinked. Then grinned. Well, I think America just heard you loud and clear. I smiled. Calm as ever. Good. Because I meant every word. After the broadcast, the network car drove me home. My phone was exploding again, texts from strangers, emails from producers, invitations from publishers. But the one message that caught my eye came from an unknown number. It read, "You embarrassed us on national TV. This isn't over. Jay." I stared at the screen, unbothered. Jessica thought she was warning me. But what she didn't understand was that the more she fought, the more power she handed me. And for the first time in years, I wasn't afraid. I was ready. The text from Jessica lingered in my mind all night. This isn't over. I knew she wouldn't stay quiet for long. Jessica loved the spotlight too much. By Wednesday morning, my prediction came true. I woke up to notifications again, but this time, they weren't cheers. They were headlines. Jessica Carter breaks her silence. Daughter-in-law of BMW mom speaks out, she manipulated us. I turned on the TV. There she was, sitting on a plush sofa during a talk show. Hair perfectly styled. Tears glistening in her eyes. She ambushed us, Jessica said, voice trembling. She set us up to look greedy. All Kevin and I wanted was to build a respectable life. To show people we were successful. She twisted everything for attention. The audience murmured with sympathy. The host leaned forward. So you're saying your mother-in-law orchestrated this? Yes, Jessica said, wiping her eyes. She made me look like a gold digger when all I wanted was to support my husband. It breaks my heart that she would humiliate us in front of the world. I nearly dropped my coffee cup. The lies rolled off her tongue so smoothly. Anyone who didn't know better might believe her. The phone rang. My neighbor Emily's voice came through. Breathless. Margaret. Turned to Channel 9. They're running a poll, people are split. Half think you're a hero. Half think you humiliated your family for clout. Of course. I muttered. Jessica knows how to play victim. Emily lowered her voice. Are you going to respond? I thought about it. No matter how much Jessica twisted the story, the truth was still on my side. The video didn't lie. Yes, I said. I'll respond. On my terms. That evening, Kevin finally came crawling back. He stormed into my living room, face red. Mom, Jessica went on TV because of you. She's being dragged online. And it's killing her. I set my book aside. She's being dragged because she lied. There's a difference. You humiliated her first. He snapped. No, Kevin. She humiliated herself when she tried to claim something that wasn't hers. He clenched his fists. Do you have any idea what this is doing to our marriage? I looked at him coolly. Maybe it's showing you the kind of woman you married. He flinched like I'd slapped him. You don't know her like I do. Oh, I know her, I said. Better than you think. And so does the rest of America now. He stormed out again, slamming the door behind him. By Friday, Jessica had escalated. She gave an exclusive interview to a glossy magazine. The headline read, "The Truth Behind BMW Mom Jealousy, Control, and Betrayal." Inside, Jessica painted me as a manipulative matriarch, desperate for relevance, clinging to wealth and power because I couldn't stand to see my son happy. She even posed for the photo shoot, eyes red from fake tears, with Kevin by her side. The article spread like wildfire. Suddenly, the internet was arguing. BMW mom is a hero. No, She's toxic. She's teaching parents to control their kids. She exposed entitled brats. It was chaos. Then came the tipping point. A journalist called me directly. Mrs. Carter, we'd like your side of the story. Jessica says you set her up. She claims the BMW was always meant to be theirs. And you signed the title just to humiliate them. Is that true? I laughed. Is that what she told you? Then come by tomorrow. I'll show you the paperwork. And maybe a few receipts Jessica hopes you'll never see. Receipts? Oh yes. I said. You'll want to bring your camera. When I hung up, I opened the drawer of my desk and pulled out a folder. Bank transfers. Screenshots. Messages Jessica had sent me over the years. Dripping with disdain and entitlement. She wanted a war? Fine. I was ready to fight it in the court of public opinion. And this time, she wouldn't be able to cry her way out. The reporter arrived Saturday morning with a cameraman and a notebook. She was young, sharp-eyed, and looked like she smelled blood in the water. Mrs. Carter, she said, shaking my hand firmly. Thank you for agreeing to talk. As you know, Jessica has painted you as controlling and manipulative. The public's split. But you say you have evidence? I led her into the living room, where I had already laid everything out on the coffee table: bank statements, screenshots, old text messages. Jessica wants the world to see her as a victim, I said, settling into my chair. But I want you to see the truth. I slid the first stack across the table. These are the wire transfers. Thousands of dollars over the past 2 years. Money Kevin asked for. Money Jessica spent. Vacations. Designer bags. Spa trips. None of it repaid. The reporter's eyebrows rose. And your son claimed these were gifts? He claimed a lot of things, I said. But here's Jessica. In her own words. I handed over the printed screenshots. Text messages. Her words practically leapt off the page. Margaret should be grateful we even invite her. She's old money but no taste. That's why I need to manage Kevin's image. Once she's out of the picture, everything will be ours. The cameraman zoomed in on the papers. The reporter's eyes widened. You kept these? Of course. I said. You don't survive long in this family without receipts. By Sunday, the article was live. BMW mom claps back, the receipts that change everything. Screenshots of Jessica's texts filled the page. The article detailed every transfer, every insult, every plan Jessica had whispered behind my back. The internet exploded again. Gold digger exposed. BMW mom had the receipts ready, queen behavior. She's been sitting on this evidence like a final boss. Jessica's image crumbled overnight. The magazine that once praised her deleted their glowing feature. Influencers who defended her suddenly went silent. Kevin? He went dark on social media entirely. Jessica, of course, wasn't done. She called me in a frenzy. How dare you leak my private messages? She screamed. You've ruined my reputation. Jessica, I said calmly. You ruined your own reputation the moment you wrote those words. I just let the world see them. You think this makes you look good? She spat. You're just proving you're vindictive. No. I said. I'm proving I'm done being silent. There was a long pause. Then she hissed. You'll regret this. And she hung up. That evening, the local news station asked me for an interview. Mrs. Carter, the anchor said, Jessica accused you of manipulation. But your receipts suggest she and Kevin relied on your money while disrespecting you. Do you feel vindicated? I looked straight into the camera. This was never about money. It was about respect. I don't mind generosity. What I won't tolerate is being erased, mocked, or treated like I'm disposable. I gave them a chance to be honest. They chose lies. And now the lies are catching up with them. The segment aired at 6. By 9, the clip had gone viral again. Comments poured in. She's unstoppable. BMW mom dropping truth bombs like receipts rain. Imagine disrespecting your mom when she has a whole archive on you. By midnight, Jessica's name was trending for all the wrong reasons. Hashtag gold digger Jess. Hashtag receiptgate. Hashtag BMW mom wins. I watched the hashtags climb while sipping tea on my porch. The night air was cool. The phone buzz constant. And I thought this wasn't just revenge anymore. This was justice. The morning after the receipts went public, the silence from Kevin and Jessica was deafening. No posts. No interviews. No smug photo shoots. Just nothing. But the world was loud enough for both of them. Jessica's name was everywhere. And none of it flattering. Tabloids splashed her face on covers with the headline "From Glam to Sham." Bloggers posted breakdowns of her text messages like they were studying scripture. Memes flooded the internet, Jessica holding shopping bags labeled "Mom's money." Jessica crying in a BMW with the caption "Not yours." And Kevin? He became collateral damage. A friend from his office called me quietly. "Margaret, you didn't hear this from me. But the partners told him to take indefinite leave. They're worried about the company's reputation. Clients keep asking if he's that BMW boy." I thanked her, then hung up and sat in the silence of my kitchen. So this was it. The collapse had begun. By noon, Jessica finally cracked. She posted a shaky Instagram video. "Hi, everyone," she said, eyes red, voice quivering. "I just want to clear the air. I'm not a gold digger. I love Kevin. And I never disrespected Margaret." Those messages were taken out of context. I was venting. We all say things we don't mean. The comments came in like bullets. "Girl, you said you couldn't wait for her to be out of the picture." Out of context? You literally called her tacky. BMW mom owns you and the car. Jessica ended the video with, "Please stop harassing me." But it was too late. Kevin showed up that evening. Not angry this time. Not shouting. Just broken. He stood in the doorway. Shoulders slumped. Dark circles under his eyes. "Mom," he whispered, "I lost my job. Jessica won't leave the apartment. Reporters are camped outside our building. I don't know what to do." I studied him carefully. This was the boy I raised. The man I once believed in. And now, stripped of arrogance, he looked small. "Kevin," I said softly, "you did this to yourself. You let Jessica control you. You treated me like a servant in my own home. And for what? Status? Appearances?" He dropped onto the couch, burying his face in his hands. I thought if we looked successful, people would respect me. I sat across from him. Respect doesn't come from a BMW. It comes from character. And you gave yours away. He looked up, eyes wet. "Can you fix it? Please. You have the media on your side. If you just tell them." I shook my head. "No, Kevin. I'm done fixing your mistakes. You'll have to face this one yourself." That night, the evening news reported Jessica's sponsors had dropped her. No more brand deals. No more influencer events. She was officially toxic. One commentator said, "This might be the fastest fall from grace we've ever seen." And it all started with a car. I laughed out loud in my living room. A car. That's all it took to reveal the rot beneath their perfect image. The next day, the neighborhood buzzed with whispers. I couldn't walk down the street without someone stopping me. "Margaret, you're incredible. You saved yourself and taught them a lesson. You turned the whole country into your witnesses." I smiled, nodded, thanked them. But deep down, I knew this wasn't just about me anymore. Kevin and Jessica had built their lives on the illusion of control. Now that illusion was shattered, and all that remained was the rubble of their choices. And me? I wasn't rubble. I was the one standing on top of it. Late that night, my phone buzzed again. A message from Jessica. You think you've won, but I'll make sure you regret this. I stared at the words, calm as ever. Then I typed back, I don't regret anything. The only regret is yours, for thinking you could erase me. I set the phone down, turned off the light, and slept better than I had in years. Because the collapse wasn't mine. It was theirs. The calls kept coming. Reporters, talk shows, podcasts. Everyone wanted my opinion, my story, milestones on respect. I could have cashed in, made a brand out of being BMW mom. But I wasn't interested in fame. What I wanted was closure. So when a primetime news program invited me to sit down with Kevin and Jessica for a family reconciliation special, I surprised everyone by saying yes. The studio was tense that night. Cameras everywhere. Producers whispering. Lights too bright. Kevin sat on one side of the couch, looking thinner, defeated. Jessica sat next to him, stiff as a statue, her smile frozen and brittle. I sat across from them, calm, collected. The host began. We're here tonight with Margaret Carter, known to millions as BMW Mom, and her son Kevin with his wife Jessica. This family has become a national conversation about respect, money, and power. Tonight, they'll face each other. Kevin spoke first, voice shaky. Mom, I know I messed up. I let things get out of hand. I shouldn't have pressured you. I shouldn't have let Jessica. His voice trailed off. Jessica jumped in, sharper. What Kevin means is, this whole thing spiraled beyond what anyone intended. Margaret, you made a private family disagreement into a public humiliation. You should have handled it behind closed doors. I turned to her, my voice even. Behind closed doors? Jessica, I tried that. Every time I asked for respect, you rolled your eyes. Every time I helped you, you treated it like entitlement. You weren't looking for privacy. You were looking for silence. The host leaned in. Jessica, what about the receipts? The texts? The money transfers? Jessica's face tightened. I was venting. Everyone vents. It wasn't meant to be serious. I pulled a folded paper from my purse and set it on the table. Then explained this. It was a message from 3 months ago. Her words, once she's gone, everything will finally be ours. The studio went dead silent. Cameras zoomed in. Jessica's jaw clenched. That was taken out of context. I looked straight into the lens. The context is simple, she wanted me gone. And I'm still here. The audience in the studio gasped. Some even clapped. The host raised his eyebrows, clearly caught in the spectacle. Kevin buried his face in his hands. Jessica, stop. Just stop. She whipped her head toward him. Don't you dare turn on me. But he was already shaking his head. You dragged us into this mess. You made us believe appearances were more important than truth. And now we're destroyed. For the first time, Jessica had no comeback. The host turned to me. Margaret, what do you want to say? What's your final word in all this? I sat tall, my voice clear. This was never about a BMW. It was about respect. A car can be bought. Status can be faked. But respect? That's earned. And if you don't respect the person who gave you everything, you end up with nothing. I paused, letting the silence stretch. Then I delivered the line that had been burning inside me for weeks. I don't buy BMWs for people who treat me like a servant. I buy BMWs for myself. The audience erupted. Applause. Cheers. Shouts. The host smiled, closing the segment. There you have it. The final word from BMW mom herself. I stood, smoothed my blouse, and walked off stage, the sound of clapping following me all the way out the door. And for the first time in years, I wasn't just Kevin's mother. I wasn't Jessica's target. I was Margaret Carter. And my name was mine again.